these partners that we are working with, they are long-term partners. We have built very strong relationships with our South African partners, Kyrgyz partners, and definitely the CEU, all of whom we share with them a lot of common visions, common interests. So I do think that we will be working together in the years to come, and this can be materialized in an exchange of students or scholars, mutual visits later on, in addition to what was carried out in this project, and why not also additional projects together that we can apply for. So definitely in terms of partnerships, I think we have still a lot of room bilaterally or together to build on that. And also we should not forget the importance of the course that we have built together. And I think the material that was prepared has a lot of potential to be expanded or to be shared online in a new framework, which can sustain the impact of this project beyond its lifetime.
First of all, we would like to offer a course in our program, Anthropology and International Development Program, on ethnoecology and other courses. And then secondly, we hope to continue our collaboration with our partners in the post-project phase, trying to probably invite other partners, but at least writing up a very good academic article based on our research would be an important asset to this project.
My personal research area is located in South Africa, approximately 200 kilometers north of the sites currently the focus of the Wits team. And I've been active in this area for 20 plus years, mostly working on issues of park people relationships and human-wildlife conflict. So in a sense, the sustainability of the project already has a history. And as you're well aware, trust and legitimacy are part and parcel of relationship building in rural areas. So it's my aim, and I believe the partners' aims as well, to continue to build relationships with both community members and decision makers in the area through projects which address very real and very tangible challenges that communities face. So CORUSUS is spot on in that regard. If solutions can be identified to these challenges, then it's our intent to communicate these to other communities in similar contexts through knowledge sharing.
The first one I can think of is related to logistics. So this project was travel heavy in a good way, because without these travels we wouldn't have had all these experiences, us and the students. But as with any international travel, a lot of logistics are needed. So I can think of the visa issues, last minute arrangements and document requests. For number two, I would say it's a challenge, but at the same time, it's also a part of doing science, trying to standardize our research methodologies and approaches in different countries where we have different local contexts, and also because we have different backgrounds, so we're not all with the same expertise. So it was challenging, but actually very enriching as well.
One of the challenges was coordinating and synchronizing our different calendar years, across northern and southern hemispheres. But we did manage to do that. But that did mean that, for example, our research has gone into the field quite late in the project cycle, and it means that we're right tight up against our reporting deadlines, just as we're going to be finishing fieldwork. So that's been a challenge. Another challenge was having to submit a proposal for successive years of funding on quite tight timelines. So the funding of the initial year with subsequent proposals for every additional year was quite an administrative challenge, especially for the PI, and created additional workload, and also created some uncertainty. Although we were fairly certain of the subsequent years of the funding, there was always the possibility that our proposal may not be accepted, and this was a bit stressful. We're
from very different contexts, cultural, geographic contexts, especially within the Global South zone, then it was a little bit challenging during our course. For example, to explain a bit more of a context coming from either from Central Asia or might be also away from Lebanon or South Africa. So it was challenging, but it was more a very important challenge which would enhance the communication between students, but not only between students, also between professors in the direction of improving the course. Or how should we explain different contexts? How should we improve our approaches to this topic? In general, I wouldn't say that we had an objective, totally negative challenges, but it was more of an opportunity for us to improve our communication and teaching process.
I think there's been one major challenge, and I think this is a ubiquitous challenge that is tied up in our role as researchers. And when identifying some of the core causes of some of these rural sustainability challenges, and in many cases, some relatively easy fixes, there's an inherent challenge as researchers to push this forward beyond simple communication. There must be political will to implement these solutions by responsible institutions, and this is rarely easy. So we often focus on the science policy nexus, particularly in teaching, but we often forget that there's also a policy management nexus in the process. And sound measures to address the challenges that we're seeing are dependent on good science, adequate and coherent policy, and proper management. And as researchers, we can contribute to this process, but it depends on many more actors to see a real change on the ground. And that's why these partnerships, not just within the project, but with the rural communities and with the local institutions are tantamount to seeing success.
Lessons learned from this project, which I value, I think it was something unique to CORUSUS. It had enough structure for the 3 years program that we had put, but yet allowed for a lot of flexibility within. And I think in any project with cooperation between partners and with also different backgrounds, this is very important. So I really value how we build our research step by step and learning from year to year and from each other. So I think it's very important for any future project. It's a good lesson learned to have structure yet flexibility to explore and to build within the project. And a second suggestion would be to integrate more online options, specifically for the teaching part, because I think this will minimize the impact of the logistics, which I mentioned earlier, but also might increase the reach of the course and the materials.
So we need more research. We need much more research than we can do. And after that, we can really enhance our teaching process. And we can also publish more. So I would say that I'm more about research-oriented aspects of the future projects.
I think we've done very well as a team, and I foresee that we are going to just build on the current strengths of the past 2 years of the collaboration, and I look forward to collaborating in year 3 and really look forward to visiting Lebanon.
As I stated earlier, projects like CORUSUS that involve teaching, research, and civic engagement are built largely on relationship building. And this is between students, between faculty, and with the communities with whom we work. And this requires time spent with each other, and CORUSUS has facilitated that for us. And our effectiveness as a project is intertwined with the degree to which we are actually building relationships. So the effectiveness of CORUSUS and similar initiatives is enhanced by the attention to all of these various components, but also to understanding to what degree we're building partnerships between the various partners. And personally, I believe that partnerships between the so-called Global South partners have been stimulated through CORUSUS, and this is something I believe will become increasingly important in the years to come.
This project is quite unique in that it brings together partners from parts of the world that don't typically collaborate. It's a rather unusual mix of collaborators, but I think this is part of the strength of this collaboration that brings really interesting different perspectives together from different parts of the world. And I think this has enhanced the learning, both in terms of the teaching program and as well as our research that we're doing together.
It was one of the very, very special projects that I've been involved with at the personal and the professional level. And I also thank all the partners and the funders for their contribution to this project.